Hey folks, Cornell with YouTube Fishing Vids. I'm back from Florida and I had a mystery tackle box waiting for me in the mail. So you know what time it is. I'm out here on a mid-Atlantic, a Maryland farm pond that's finally thawed. You all may have seen me out here maybe a week or so before my trip to Florida, and this place was half frozen. We've had some unbelievable weather. Right now it's about 50 degrees, cloud cover, and dead calm with a barely, maybe a little ripple on the water. But the mystery tackle box pros in my hand for the month of January. Guys, I always take a sneak peek. I never make this too much of a mystery for myself because I like to know what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show you what's in here. And not everything in this box is going to work. I'm in probably barely 40-degree water. I bet this water's in the high 30s right now, to be honest with you. So I wish I had a couple of these baits down in Florida when I was down there, because the first one that comes out of the box is the River to Sea double plopper. Guys, the floating buzzbait concept by River to Sea. I'm going to change things up a little in this video. I'm going to show you a little clip. Last year, the very first topwater bait of 2016 for me was actually the same color, which is the black loon. Yep, that's the black loon color, and a full-blown 130 size whopper plopper. Take a look at this clip and watch what happened.
So we got here like a something around here.
Or slurp, either one, I'll take it. Oh, that's my fish.
Right after we
right after the one. And of course, it's a nice fish too. And oh, I love it on the whopper plopper.
Man.
That's awesome.
Look at this fish.
It's a giant.
Been out here for less than 30 minutes.
That's a freaking giant.
Holy moly, the whopper plopper.
Look at this fish.
That's gotta be a 4.5, baby. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Wow, what a day. What a way to start the day. What are you guessing?
I guessed 4.5, and she is 5 pounds, 5.0, just over 5 pounds.
Are you serious? We just caught a 5-pounder, Little Seneca Lake. My first topwater fish. No, yes, my first topwater fish.
Your first topwater fish of the
We
year.
both just got our first topwater fish of the year.
5 pounds.
And an over 5-pounder.
Less than 30 minutes. That is incredible, man.
Awesome, right? Pretty awesome, right? So there's the River to Sea whopper plopper in action. I've never thrown the double plopper, so I'm very excited to do that. So come this spring, I'm really looking forward to throwing this out there and see if I can surprise myself and maybe catch my first 2017 topwater fish on a double plopper. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right, so there's a double plopper out of the mystery tackle box for the month of January. Second hard bait out of the box. You all have to know Nichols lures. You know those giant, huge Magnum spoons they make that they flutter up and down off the bottom off of those ledges that down in the big lakes down a little farther south from me? There's the Mojo spoon. That's an itty bitty little half-ounce silver spoon. Guys, I'm throwing it out here. I'm gonna rig this up. I knew it was in the box, so I brought the perfect rod reel for it. It's gonna be thrown on a medium, fast action 7-footer. I've got a medium speed reel and 12-pound test. This is anywhere from, honestly, 10 to 20-pound test depending on your situation, but to get the best action out of a little flutter spoon like this, probably keep it on a low end. I'm going to throw it on 12-pound test fluorocarbon. I'm going to go ahead and jig it off the bottom, let it flutter down, and see if any of these cold bass want to grab it on the way down. Third hard bait out of the box. Wrapped really nice too. I'm going to put this box down for a minute, unwrap this bad boy. The 6th Sense, the Swank Crank. This is the Swank Crank 77X. Again, not a bait that I'm necessarily going to throw here at this time of year, but again, this is a killer bait once the springtime comes and those fish start to get a little more active. Great color. What color do they call this? This is the Sexified Chartreuse Shad. Am I allowed to say that? Sexified? Yep, that's the Sexified Chartreuse Shad. That's going to be, let's see how deep this thing runs, if it even tells me. Dives 2 to 4 feet. It's the 1/7 of an ounce. It's 77 millimeters. That's a good size. That's about I'd say a 2.5 size crankbait, and it's a shallow diver. So let's open it up and take a look at it real quick. Don't you love opening these new crankbaits? It's always fun getting your hands on these things. All right, check this thing out. Awesome little bait. Check out the square bill on that. Shallow diving little, it's not really a square bill to be honest with you. It's just a shallow diver, guys. You're gonna wake that underneath the surface, throw that on a medium action, medium moderate action, maybe 7-foot rod, get that out there on anywhere from 10 to up to 17-pound test, depending on the cover you're throwing this in. It'll definitely change up the depth. If you're trying to get that all the way down to the 4-foot depth, throw that all the way down to 10-pound test. Make sure you're not throwing it into super heavy cover, but all the way up to 17-pound test to run it real shallow and just wake it under the surface in some of that real heavy stuff, and you get that little bad boy getting up on some of those pre-spawn bass, some of the spawn that are coming up shallow. So take a look at that. Awesome bait by 6 cents. Okay, the mystery tackle box has 2 options in the box for soft plastics. I'm gonna pull out the first one. Check this out. Lunker Hunt Coarse Strength. It looks like it's a creature bait. So let's go ahead and open this one up and take a look at it. It's called the Lunker Bug. It's a pumpkin color 4-inch creature bait. Looks like a crawfish from what I'm looking at. So let's get this open, take a look. This is something I could probably throw out here in the pond. Jigs, creature baits, slow moving creepy crawlers across the bottom. Check it out. Just a pumpkin color with black flakes in it. It's a 4-inch creature bait, just like a crawfish imitation. Let me throw that down there. And it looks like it's got a metallic foil, kind of like a bronze metallic foil. So real nice natural pattern. I've got cloud cover today. The sun's barely creeping through the clouds, so that little reflective effect is pretty awesome. Hopefully you can see that. So there you go. That's the Lunker Hunt, Lunker Bug, 4-inch little creature bait out of the mystery tackle box. Texas rig. I got a setup here, guys. Maybe about 5/16 ounce tungsten, 15-pound test fluorocarbon, a little 5/0 flipping hook. So I'm going to throw that out there and see if we can drag it across the bottom, get some attention. All right, and the last soft plastic coming out of the mystery tackle box for the month of January. Yep, you see it right, folks. That's the Catchco Company Pro Series. Catchco's got their own line of soft plastics. This happens to be a ribbon-tailed worm, and it's in a really great baitfish shad pattern, like an albino shad. Let's break this open and take a look at it. Check that out. There it is, little albino shad pattern ribbon tail. It's even got a little fin concept taken on the profile of a little bait fish. Let's put that down. So guys, take a look. We're in ultra cold water. You know that little swim baits, we know that little grubs and little 1/8 ounce ball head jigs swimming through these suspended fish that potentially are swimming through these cold waters are a great idea. But if you didn't know, that's really taken on the same concept. Just a little baitfish profile with a little curly tail worm concept. You swim it. So you can fish this Texas rig, you can creep it across the bottom, but when you got those suspended fish, take a look at what happened. Here's another clip from a golf course pond down in Florida where I was fishing a 10-inch ribbon tail worm, and I was fishing in the morning, and then I heard the ping of a golf ball. So the golfers were on their way out. I had permission to fish it prior to the golfers coming out, but once I heard that, I had to run, so I cranked in that 10-inch ribbon tail worm, and as it's coming back in, a big 6-pounder came in to crush it. Missed it. I think I threw it out on maybe the 4th cast, just swimming a 10-inch worm with a ribbon tail, and he came up and sucked it in. So guys, ribbon tail worms aren't just for creeping across the bottom. They're not just for pitching into cover. They're awesome when you swim them, and sometimes the only way you'll ever learn that is when it happens by accident, like it did in this clip. So check it out. Swimming a 10-inch. That's a big fish. That is a great big bass. We're gonna have to take a walk. Come with me. Okay. Oh. We're gonna take a walk for that one. That is a giant. So there you go, pretty awesome, right? And amazing to see a giant bass like that come up and just grab a swimming curly-tailed worm. So that's the same concept of what I'm gonna do today on a much more finesse-y concept. Real short little ribbon-tailed worm, bait fish profile on a little ball head. I'm gonna get this rigged up on a little basic 7-foot medium action spinning tackle with a light 15-pound test braid and a 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and that's exactly how this is going to get rigged up. So take a look, let's see how this goes. And the last deal out of the box, of course, you always got a little bit of terminal tackle in the mystery tackle box. Perfect option for that little worm I just showed you. Just a classic offset wide gap, guys. Just a 3 count, and I believe this is a, looks like about a 3/0, 3 to 4/0 red worm hook. So that's something I could use with that ribbon tail worm if I choose to, but I think I might go ahead and just use a ball head jig on it, and I'll save those beauties for later. So guys, there's the mystery tackle box for the month of January, loaded for bear. I got a couple things in there I can fish right here in my local area. Gosh guys, if I get back down to Florida, I'm taking that double plopper, I'm taking that little shallow running crankbait by 6 cents, and I'm gonna go at it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna rig up the lunker hunt creature bait on a Texas rig. I'm gonna rig up the ribbon tail on a little ball head jig. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of business and get that little flutter spoon on a medium action 7-footer. See if I can get that fluttering off the bottom, catch a couple bass, so hang tight. All right, folks, there it is. I've got one of my 7-footers here. I've got my 7-foot medium action St. Croix Avid rod. Fast action. I got it with an old school quantum smoke reel with 12-pound test fluorocarbon on it. Just a medium speed reel, nothing crazy fast, nothing crazy slow. And there's the Mojo spoon. So I'm gonna break this open. I'm gonna get this all hooked up, and I'm gonna go ahead and flutter this off the bottom, see if I can get any of these cold water bass to react. It's a pretty stout hook on that Mojo spoon, solid little spoon. There you go. Sun's just breaking out. Hopefully it'll reflect really nice off that Mojo spoon. I'll get a little attention. So let's throw it out in the deeper section of this pond and see if there's anything biting. Yeah, so these flutter spoons cast a country mile. So all I'm doing is I'm casting it out there. I'm waiting for that flutter spoon to hit bottom, cranking up or reeling up on the slack, and it's gonna be quick little hops off the bottom, just like a blade bait. So you're just basically letting that sink to the bottom, little hop off the bottom, reel up the slack, and on that fall, that flutter spoon's doing what it's called. It's a flutter spoon. It's fluttering down, and it's on that fall that these cold water bass love to snatch it. So a little hop off the bottom, follow it down as it's fluttering, wait for that tick, and bang, that's usually when you're gonna get your bite. Okay folks, I gave that flutter spoon some love, and it's January, it's mid-January in the mid-Atlantic. No surprise, no bites. I covered pretty much every area of this pond that could possibly have a bass willing to bite, that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of business with this lunker hunt. All right folks, we're just launching this Texas rigged lunker bug out there and letting it sink to the bottom. And I'm telling you guys, as cold as the water is, take a look at my handle here. I'm gonna reel up the slack. It's on the bottom, and I'm telling you right now, like they say with cold water fishing, once you think you're fishing slow, slow down even more. This is as much as I'm giving it right here. Look at my bail turn. This is actually a high-speed reel. It's a 7 1-to-1, but I am moving this thing so slow, it's painful. Cold water fishing, guys, if you're out here and you're trying to get a bass, this is what you got to do. Just creep that across the bottom as slow as you possibly can, and then even slow down some more. And as slow as you're fishing, you're going to feel the slightest little tick. It's going to feel like you caught up on some mushy leaves or caught up on something. That little tick is just that bass sucking it in, and sometimes he's not even running. He's not even turning his head. He sucked it in. Got to give it to it. If you don't give it to it, it's going to suck it in and spit it right out, and it's over. Another really, really important point is add scent to your bait. I added a little crawfish scent to this, so if he sucks it in, he might just gnaw on it just a little bit more and hold on for just long enough for you to give it to him. But guys, remember, a little tick, a little mushy feeling, a little feel like you caught into some weeds, just give it to it. And as you're moving real slow, you're going to feel it that much better when you're creeping and crawling across the bottom real slow. So slow it down, give it a good hook set if you feel something. Hook sets are free. All right, folks, that was painful. It's always painful this time of year, but I'm fishing. That's all that matters. I'm happy as I could be to get out. That's a little bit big. You know, the water's ultra cold. The water's really clear. Not ultra clear, but pretty darn clear. You know, if I was fishing any kind of creature bait jig, it'd be a finesse jig, it'd be a small hair jig, it'd be something pretty small for these kind of conditions, but you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. This mystery tackle box always gives you different opportunities, always gives you something to challenge and give yourself something to do, at least when you're out here on a nice 50-some degree day in the mid-Atlantic. So there it is. There's a little creature bait dragging across the bottom of a farm pond. So now I'm gonna break out my spinning tackle. Now I'm going to break out the Ketchco little ribbon tail worm. I'm going to rig that up on a little ball head jig and swim that through some of these cold farm pond bass and see what happens. All right, folks, I broke out the spinning tackle. I got my St. Croix Legend Tournament Series 7'1" medium fast action spinning rod. I've got the Shimano Stradic CI4 and a 2500 series reel, 15-pound test braid, Albright knot to 10 pound test fluorocarbon, and there it is, just an itty bitty little 1/8 ounce ball head jig. That's all it is. So just a little 1/8 ounce ball head jig. It's going to be what I thread this ribbon tail Ketchko worm onto. So just real simple, folks. All we're going to do is go right in the nose. And it's always important actually to give yourself an idea where you're going to be. So if you're going to measure that out, you can tell you're going to be just about actually where those little, it's hard to see them, there's little fins right there. So there's a seam down the middle. It's got kind of a albino shad pattern deal, like I said. So I can kind of go right down the seam, make sure you're real centered going up the middle. And I'm going to come right out about where I saw I should, right about the top there. All right, hopefully that'll center it perfectly. And I'll have a perfectly straight ribbon tail worm. Yep, check that out. There you go. So as finessey as I can get out on this pond with what I've got out of the mystery tackle box for January, there it is, the Ketchko ribbon tail worm on a 1/8 ounce ball head jig on my spinning tackle. All right, let's throw it out there, see if we can get one of these ultra cold farm pond bass to bite. Take a look at this ribbon tail on the worm, folks. When it's real cold, you want that real slow movement, but look at that thing undulating in the water. Just crazy, crazy slow, but it's moving perfectly with that real slow movement, really good undulating. Just moving a little bit of water, just looking real natural. Hopefully that's enough to get one of these cold bass to react. All right, folks, that ends my effort to get these icy cold farm pond bass to bite. I had a few great options in the January mystery tackle box to throw at them. Have a few more great things to look forward to throwing come this spring when the water warms up and those bass get more active. Never easy this time of year, but it's always great to get out, and it's way better than sitting on the couch. So as always, I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate you subscribing, and until we meet again, over and out.